Thank you very much, Colin, for those words of introduction. I'm most grateful for the invitation to come to such a prestigious event. We don't get too many invitations to come to things like this, so I'm grateful on that account. I'm also grateful because it gets me away from the spending review and budget discussions that are going on quite intensely, literally as we speak. So it's a real pleasure to be here. For those of you who don't know too much about Homes England, we are the National Housing and Regeneration Agency for the government. And through a range of our interventions, both in terms of our land and development team and our investment team, our responsibility is to boost the level of activity of supply of new housing, really regardless of tenure. We're interested in all elements of tenure from a delivery perspective, and we're interested in doing that across all aspects of the housing market. What we do is, at the moment, is we focus on three key priorities which really come into our daily activities. The first of those is that we genuinely want everyone to have an affordable, quality and sustainable home. And that has to be reflected in all of the activities and all of the interventions that we take responsibility for. We're also very, very focused on regenerating socially equal communities. That's a big phrase and has many meanings, but it fundamentally underpins what we are responsible for as we go through the process of delivery within the sector. And thirdly, in terms of a priority, we are very focused on what the new government wants. We're very focused on what the Housing Minister is interested in delivering, and we take our lead from the objectives that he wants to create. On that theme of regeneration, one of our most successful programs over the last 12 months has been the interaction that we've been able to create with local authorities, either in the form of combined mayoral authorities or in the form of traditional local authorities. We've gone through a process of creating a series of strategic partnerships across the UK, from Plymouth down in the West Country, all the way through to areas in the north of the country, Newcastle, for example. But our objective is to work with those organisations to deliver the requirements of local politicians, but also the requirements of local communities and the requirements of local people. And that partnership, those strategic partnerships, have proven to be successful in terms of focusing on the right level of delivery of housing in the right places at the right time. We sincerely hope that will continue to evolve and develop as the concept of combined authority mayors perhaps continues to grow. It is very encouraging that housing is such a high priority for the new government. As a delivery agency, we performed against our targets last year in terms of what we were delivering. We set a series of KPIs. Even though the market wasn't as strong as it could have been, we still managed to achieve them. But that target of 1.5 million homes within this Parliament that the government has set will mean that we will need to up our game further to allow that to happen. And even walking around this evening and looking at some of the exhibitors and speaking to some of you, the constant question is, when I say question, sometimes it's a question, sometimes it's a cross-examination, sometimes I'm pinned up against the wall in terms of how are you going to deliver 1.5 million homes? And my stock answer is, it's for the entire market to deliver. Homes England can make a substantial contribution. Government policy can make a substantial contribution. But at the end of the day, I think we all know that there is no silver bullet in terms of how we deliver 1.5 million homes in the near term. it's a fact that lots of things have got to come together, and there's got to be an awful lot of joined up thinking to ensure that happens. One of the ways that we've started to look at what we can do is the government's New Homes Accelerator. And that's a collaboration between Homes England, between the GLA, between local authorities, between other parts of central government, and between the private sector, predominantly in the form of house builders and developers. That programme has identified 200 sites across the country that will be squeezed into this accelerator programme, and that produces around about 300,000 homes if it's executed correctly. So the ability to deliver, the potential to deliver, is certainly there. We will continue to play a role in championing the use of modern methods of construction within that title, to bridge the gap between a traditional approach and the innovation that our industry clearly needs. Innovation is critical to driving construction productivity and delivering high quality homes more quickly. Innovation is how we meet those housing objectives, that 1.5 million target, while respecting our climate goals. MMC has demonstrated that it can deliver better housing outcomes and create delivery capacity at the same time. Sustaining innovation through challenging economic conditions and market cycles is very, very difficult. And that is something that we've had to grapple with in the recent past, and I wouldn't mind betting that it's something that we will have to continue to grapple with in the short and medium term. The point is, we do need to grapple with it. Homes England is committed to working with a whole series of partners, whether it be local authorities or whether it be housing associations, to deliver that affordable piece. And we are responsible for a programme that amounts to £7.4 billion to achieve that through the Affordable Housing Programme. Within that, we specifically encourage MMC. That programme is due to come to an end in 2026. We are working at pace to design the next programme, should the government wish to continue along that track. And it will indeed form part of an MMC strategy, because it's obvious that there is a direct link between the two. This event, an exhibition series here at the Building Centre, is a great opportunity to showcase and to some extent celebrate the sector's continuing innovation, and that's something we support. I'm delighted to see, as I walk around, some projects that Homes England have managed to contribute to, either through direct relationships with the providers, or in some situations just being the exit point through our partnership sponsor, particularly within the affordable housing sector. We're also very interested in research. We're not all about delivery. We are conducting a research project specifically into MMC with Atkins Realis, UCL and the BRE, and we're hoping that investigation into the 15 targets that they've decided to look at will be fruitful in terms of forming not just our view, perhaps the wider sector view on the techniques and technologies that can potentially be deployed. Some of those at the moment are in their infancy, and some of them have become more established. It's about bringing what's effective forward as quickly as possible. I think MMC is on the agenda and will remain on the agenda, because it is a vital approach to us utilising against those delivery objectives for whatever reason, whether it's speed of delivery, whether it's the carbon footprint, whether it's quality. All of those things come within that same package. We know that the new government is also interested. They have already made a public statement in the House of Lords on their interest in bringing MMC forward. They have certainly written to the chairman of Homes England in a public letter setting out the importance of it. So there's nothing stopping us. There's nothing holding us back. It's all about enthusiasm and delivery. The government has also announced a 10-year housing strategy, which Homes England will work with them to develop. And again, we feel that MMC will form a critical part of that thinking as a 10-year plan is put together. We think that will contribute to economic growth in a number of parts of the country, and we really want to focus on the delivery of homes while not forgetting about the creation of place and the regeneration of elements that come with it. When you add all of that together, there are countless opportunities available to the sector. And Homes England really genuinely looks forward to working with as many of you as possible in that target of bringing forward those 1.5 million homes, which I can tell you is a conversation that happens in our office almost on a 15-minute cycle in terms of how this is going to be done. We're not going to let it fall off the agenda. I'm absolutely certain the government is not going to let that fall off the agenda. So it's a contribution from everyone that's going to make a difference, and Homes England will be there to support that. Thank you very much again for the invitation. I'm now going to hand over to Francesca for a few words.